Hello and welcome to the Cozy Stead, friends. I'm gonna process our onions and our garlic today. I hope you can hear me. We've got a really good garlic harvest this year. I didn't plant as much as last year, but the garlic that we have gotten, at least the Hardneck garlic, is amazing. Look how large this is. I think that's a pretty good garlic. I think this is the biggest garlic I've ever grown, and this one too. And these are all Hardneck garlics, and they are the Lubasha variety. And I am gonna braid these today. So I'll show you how to braid Hardneck garlic. Usually you use softneck garlic to braid, just because the Hardneck garlic, it has this thick, like hard neck in the middle. So it has like a thicker, very dense stem. And it's not really good for braiding, but you can still braid it, and I will show you how. In our climate, we grow mostly hardneck garlic because that just does a lot better than softneck garlic. Softneck garlic is not really made for very low temperatures, for very cold climates, and hardneck garlic grows a lot better in those climates. So that's why we grow a lot of hardneck garlic. I did grow softneck garlic also, but I'll show you right now how that did. This is my softneck garlic. You can see how itty bitty that is, especially if you compare these two. I mean, the difference is crazy. Last year, it wasn't like, not last year the winter, but the winter before, it wasn't so cold, so the softneck garlic didn't do as bad. But this winter was horrible. It was so cold for such a long time, and we had temperatures of -25 for an extended amount of time. So the softneck garlic really did poorly, but that doesn't matter. And then I also have my onions here. I'll show you. I'm currently curing all of them, hope you can see. And then behind me you can see there are more. I will show them to you in just a sec, but let's start with the hardneck garlic. We are gonna braid it, like I said. I gotta get rid of these onions in here. First, we're gonna clean it up because it is cured by now. It's very nice and dry, as you can see, but we do need to clean it up a little to make it suitable for, or to make it pretty for braiding. And like I said, this is the variety Lubasha, and it's this pinkish garlic. It has such a nice color. So what I am gonna do to clean this up, when I braid my hardneck garlic, I like to take a few of the lower leaves off. So I've already taken this leaf off here, and I've taken this lower leaf off. And you can leave some at the top because that will make your braid in the end. But I will take this one off. And then we also have to cut the roots. These are nice and dry. And I'm just gonna use my scissors right now to cut them. Cut them nice and short. And then I'll take just the excess papers off there, kind of like dangling around. So this here and this. I find the more papers you leave on, the better your garlic stores. But if you make a braid and you want it to look nice, you should remove some of the papers, or at least some that are like dangling around. Then I actually forgot to take a little toothbrush. An old toothbrush will do. You can clean up the soil from the bottom here quite nicely with like an old toothbrush. But because I washed these before I started curing them, I actually don't have that much soil on here. Hello, hi, welcome. So I don't really need to clean these up. So we have number one prepped. Then we will continue with number two. You can see now the difference. This one looks a lot wilder. And this is what I meant. I removed these lower leaves here from my hardneck garlic when I will braid it. And then we will also trim the roots. And like I said, we'll go check the onions in just a second. We have a lot of them. I think I had 256 onions in my garden this year. And I'm pretty sure I've harvested all of them by now. It's very windy today and kind of cloudy. I don't know if you can see the sky. But yeah, kind of cloudy. I'm in the pergola in my garden. Okay, so now we've trimmed the roots nicely and I removed some of the dangling papers. This one's also ready to go. And we're gonna need, just with soft neck garlic, when you're braiding your soft neck garlic, you're also gonna need 3 to start your braid. And you're gonna need some twine. And I have to, this one I already processed, I think yesterday. If it's like this, I will just leave the paper on top there. And I will put my largest garlic cloves in the bottom. So I will, when I start using this up, I will start using them up from the top basically, and then going downwards while I'm like taking cloves, or not cloves, while I'm taking heads from this braid. And you want to make sure that your garlic is really nice and dry. You don't want to braid anything that's even remotely moist, because it can lead to molding, and it would be a pity. All of your hard work to go to waste. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. I have my tablet here, so I will read as well. We have a lot of onions to process because we grew so much this year. I was hoping that I can grow enough that they will last us a whole year, so we could be self-sufficient. When actually, I forgot to say that, but this garlic is from garlic I had saved seeds from last year. So this is the variety Lubasha, but it is our homestead garlic now because it's from saved seed. And I am gonna save the largest clove, or the largest 2 cloves, I think, to actually plant in the fall, because the larger your cloves are when you plant them, the bigger chance you have of getting a larger head of garlic, or just a larger garlic in general. So I am gonna save these massive 2 garlics here to actually plant them. I'm planting my garlic in October, mid-October, I want to say, because you should plant your garlic around 4 to 6 weeks before your permanent frost kicks in. And we have permafrost in Estonia, so I always need to be careful when I plant my garlic, because otherwise it might not be able to develop enough roots to actually grow next year, or it might have like problems with the head start that you're giving it by planting it earlier. So mid-October seems to work for me here. But it highly depends on the year too. We've had winters that were not extremely cold, like other winters are usually here. So the problem is that you never know. It could pop up out of the soil, and then the greenery might get frosted. But usually garlic can handle it. It's a very cold hardy crop. Okay, these ones I've already processed a little bit. I'm just rubbing off the dirt off of these. Here we need to trim the roots. I always wonder if you could actually do something with the roots, because they smell so strong like garlic, even when they're dry like this. And we could probably put them into a powder and use it as a spice as well, I'm guessing. Okay, I have a lot more garlic. For those of you who joined in later, I will show you difference of the soft neck garlic I grew versus the hard neck garlic I grew. Okay, so this here is, wait, where's my bigger head? This one. This one is my hard neck garlic, and this here is my soft neck garlic. You can very clearly see a difference here. This one is quite big, it's massive, honestly. And this one is so tiny. Like I said before, soft neck garlic does not take super low temperatures very well. And we had minus 25 for a very long time last winter, or minus 20 around that. It fluctuated just slightly, but in that range. And I will show you what hardneck garlic looks, because I think in this one you can see it very nicely. I don't know if you can see it, but there's this very dense stem here in the middle that will not bend easily. It's very hard and you can't really cut it as well. So that is why soft neck garlic is usually used for braiding. Okay, so this is actually a perfect example of what I would not use for braiding, because this seems to have some kind of bug damage, maybe mite damage. Right here is a little hole, and that is not suitable for braiding, because braids are supposed to last very long. Last year when I made my hardneck garlic into a braid, it lasted me very well until May, and I harvested it at the end of July the previous year. So you don't want that, and you don't want that for planting. This is just going to be something I will eat fresh. And the ones I will eat fresh, I will just prep like this. Can you see how large those individual cloves are? This is one clove here. Not bad. Not bad at all. This one here looks a little wild at the top, so I will remove most of the leaves here. Was just checking if a mosquito was biting me, but luckily no. And then this one is also not suitable for braiding, just because I probably harvested this one a little bit late, and you can see that the cloves have already started to split from one another. So this is also not suitable for braiding, just because it won't last you in storage as much. But I might actually use this for planting too. So I will just clean it up a little. And we're gonna cut the top off. These are very sharp scissors, so they will cut through the hard neck of the garlic. But I think I might actually save this for planting because it seems to be free of any diseases. So we're gonna keep this for planting. And oh, I almost forgot more of my garlic. Let me just grab this. Aren't these beautiful? Already get stuff in my hair. Here's the same thing. This is definitely some bug damage, so I will not use this for braiding as well, but you can eat this. You just should cut around those bug damage holes. Can you see that? Here and here. So we are gonna eat this, we're just not gonna use it for braiding. You only want the healthiest and the best heads for braiding, essentially. Look at those roots, it's crazy. This one is absolutely beautiful. So pretty. Quite big too. And then we are gonna get to the onions, don't worry. Just I want to take my time doing this. This is so relaxing and meditative, especially when a storm is brewing. I can show you the sky there. I don't know if you can see that well, but there is a storm coming. Should close my greenhouse later. I hope you can hear me well because of the wind. So this one also has some small little bug holes, but even though they're small, I'm still not going to use this for the braid. I will cut this and just use it for fresh eating. I think this here is actually the last one. Like I said, I didn't grow as much garlic as I grew last year, so this might be my last one. I think it is. Okay, then we can begin with the braid. Beautiful. Okay. So I'll just get rid of this for a sec. Oi. Definitely have to come here and clean later. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick those out that I don't want to braid with because I'm gonna save them for planting. Definitely the biggest ones, because look at this one garlic clove. This is crazy. I don't know if it comes across like that on camera, but it's actually huge. And this is not elephant garlic. So, okay, these are for planting. I think I had one more. Oh yeah, the one that already split. I'm gonna use for planting also. So we can cut these actually. And I'll store them separate from the garlic that we're gonna eat. Just because I don't want any like cross contamination if they have some mites or bugs or something. Whoops. Just fell. Gonna pick that up later. Okay. But we will start with our, oh, this is so beautiful, braid. Look at the neck on this one. Okay, so for the braid, like I said, we need to use twine. You can technically do it without twine too, but it just works a little bit better if you have twine on hand. And we are going to start the same way, just like you would start with soft neck garlic. So you will take your garlic. What fell? I don't know. I guess I'll check that later. So you're gonna use your garlic. You're gonna use the largest heads in the bottom. And you're gonna cross two of them. Then we're gonna take a piece of twine. You can lay them down like this. You just need a small one. Small piece. Because see, these don't bend very well. They are very robust, I would say. So we're just gonna tie around that middle section. Woo! That's falling. So we're just gonna tie around that middle section where that cross is. We're just gonna tie it and make a knot. Okay, so then you have them like this lined up. It's getting really windy. Okay, so you have them lined up like this, and you want to make sure that the necks are kind of really close next to each other. So not that the necks are like this or, you know, further out. So you want to make them as tight as possible. Then we're going to take our third piece. We're going to lay it on top in this little curvature that's here. Just like this. And then we have the end pieces of the twine that we just used to tie these together. And we're just going to tie it on top. Oh, it ripped. Okay, no problem. Can happen. We're just going to use new twine. And this time we can also use a longer twine. So something like this. And again, we'll put it in the curvature. And we're just going to make sure that we're going to tie it very close to those other two heads. Just make a knot. And then here you have your base, essentially. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take another head of garlic. And I'm going to, you can either lay it now on this side or this side. And you're going to lay it slightly above. So I will lay mine here. And slightly above. So like this. So then it will turn into a braid. And again, we're going to tie it. So now it looks like this. And now I will also start actually braiding the greenery of the garlic. So I will just gently braid them like you do a normal braid. Just loosely. You don't need to go up until the top, but just make some little braids so you can lay it flat down. And then I have another, so here's our base that we made. I have 2 more here, and I will have a curvature here. So this is where I'm gonna put my next garlic. And I will try to bend it just a little beforehand so it's a bit more easier to handle. So this is how it's looking right now. And this same way, I will just always add 1 more garlic, tie a knot, add 1 more garlic, tie a knot, until I'm happy with how it looks. And if I run out of twine, I can just cut a new piece and tie it around. So this is how it's looking right now. You can always clean the papers up later. So I ran out of twine here now. So what I'm gonna do is I will just cut a new piece. I don't like to cut too large pieces because then sometimes you end up like making unnecessary knots, and it's just in the way of you actually braiding. Braiding hardneck garlic is more like braiding onions, I would say, than it is like braiding softneck garlic. If you know how to braid onions, then you kind of know how to braid softneck garlic. And I like to tie mine pretty tight. So here's how we're at. Oh, I forgot to trim the roots here. Definitely have to do that. We have a couple of them left. Oh, my twine broke again. No problem. Just gotta make sure that I'm gonna use new one. This twine is also not very, very strong, so I do have a habit of sometimes pulling too strong on it. See, I broke it again. Because I don't like the middle part to be that bulky, I will try to braid it just a little. Just like you would do an actual braid. Just have to do it very loosely because it is very hard to handle these hardneck garlics. And we're gonna cut those like end strings that are popping out everywhere later, so it will look all neat. Okay, I don't know how much garlic we actually have left. I think these might be our last two ones. Or did I forget something? No? I think these are our last two ones. I made a huge mess here on the sofa. I don't know if you can see, but it is what it is. Okay, our last garlic. I am gonna prep this just a little so it's easier and a little bit bendy. Then we're gonna put this nicely right on top here in the middle. You can just check where you want it. You can see that one is a bit loose here, so I will just go ahead and tie it again. Now we'll cut the ends right away. I think that's it. We've made our hardneck garlic braid, at least the main part. And this is how it looks from the back. If you want the cleaner back, you can just start by adding one and then one on top of that, one on top of that, one on top of that. But I am pretty happy with how this is looking. I'm just gonna braid the middle part here, and then we're gonna get rid of all these wild ends. And then we are gonna process some of my onions because there's a lot of them. Just gonna find these sections again that I had earlier. Yeah. I think this is easier without this on top of me. Okay, and then we need another piece of twine for the end part. This is how it's looking. You can also take this apart after braiding it one time and then just braid it again. So then the main pieces will have broken off and you can just make it look a lot nicer. Where did I put my twine? I lost it. Okay. We need a kind of long piece now. Just gonna make a knot here. Go around again and make another knot. Thank you. And another one. I like it to be really secure and hopefully not broken, just like I did it. If it breaks, you can just open it again. You can also double your twine like that. And then it withstands more pulling strength. Actually, if you double it like this, and then you go like that, just twirl it around, then you end up with this little loop at the end that you can then later use to hang up your Hardneck garlic braid, or your garlic braid in general. You can use that with any technique. So just make sure not to tie a knot on that loop. So leave a little head space. So something like this. That's how much you can leave. I tend to always do around 3 knots when I'm at the end. And then I just cut the rest off. And also the rest of the greenery, of course. And then you can go along the braid and cut all these like little bits and pieces off that are kind of going out from the main braid or the main stem braid, whatever, just to make it look even tidier. And then we can cut the rest of our twine here that we used to braid the garlic, just because it doesn't really look that pretty when it's popping out everywhere. I think that's good. Okay, we just made our Hardneck garlic braid. I think it looks beautiful. And I can just hang this up from here now. Isn't this gorgeous? I don't know, this makes me so happy. This is how it looks from the back. You could hang it either way. If you want more of the braid, you can hang it with the back side. And if you want more of the garlic, you can hang it with the front side. You do need kind of a lot of garlic to make a braid. I don't know how much I used here. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I used 14 garlic heads here. So if you have more than 14, you'll be good. So pretty. Okay. I'll put that down for now because we are gonna check my onions now. And I'll show you first what we're working with because it's a lot. Let me show you. Okay, so I am right now in my pergola and I am curing some of my onions here. These ones I've just recently harvested. You can see they still have some green on them. So these we won't process today. We have some red onions here. We have all of these. These ones are a bit further on in the curing process, but nowhere near ready. You want them to be essentially, just like the garlic, completely dry. Let me see if I can find one. Well, I did process some the other day already. So they will look like something like this when they're ready. You can trim the roots in the end and just peel 1 or 2 layers off, and then you can cut the rest of the top off. But let me see, maybe we have some ready. I think this one here is quite a good example. So you can see how it has formed a skin all around. It could maybe use 1 or 2 more days of curing, but you can still, they will still cure even if you cut the top off at some point. This one is really nice and dry. You can see how the neck is very dry and bendy. And all of the onion greens are dried up. It has formed a skin all around. I've grown, like I said, 256 onions in my garden this year. I've grown the Rosanna variety, and I've grown the Kelsey, which are very, very large onions. And I've grown Stuttgart Stanfield, which are these here. They're kind of like this flat white onions. And I've grown Red Baron and I think Red Magic. So quite a lot of them. But let me show you where my main onion curing station is, which is right here. This is where I cure the main crop, or the main crop of my onions. Basically, we have this net that Crystal attached with these little lumber pieces to the wall. And so what I do is I come in and take the onion greens and kind of bend them through here, so the onions hang on here. They have pretty good airflow. This area gets around 3 to 4 hours of sunlight in the morning, but then in the afternoon there's no actual direct sunlight, so they can just hang here. And you can see we have a lot of wind always coming in. I think it's pretty obvious here. And the wind also helps to improve the ventilation of this area, because when you are drying your onions and your garlic, you want a very nice ventilation so it doesn't start molding. This one is also a prime example of what a cured dried onion looks like. It has a little bug spot here, but we are just gonna cut that off inside, no problem. So like that. This one is on its way. This one is a pink onion. We have all different varieties. I will just go pick out the ones that are ready now, because I know that there are a couple that are ready. I just gotta find them. And then we're gonna also process them, which just means that we're gonna cut off the roots and we're gonna get rid of any of the dirt, which my onions don't have that much dirt on them, just because I washed them before I cured them. Just wash like the main dirt off, especially when there's wet dirt on them. And then we're also gonna take care like and cut off the greenery part. So I think this one is ready to see how that already came off. So if it comes off natural like that, like when I pull it, this one is definitely ready to go. This one is ready. You can see that one already processed itself. And I think this one, there is still a little bit green on it, but I think it's still good. You can cure it. This one might be good. Has a beautiful brown skin on it. Okay, I'm gonna take these for now, and we're gonna process them in the pergola. My first sunflower is opened. I think yesterday or today. So pretty. And now I also know what fell. It was an onion earlier. It was this one here. And I have to get my garlic before I forget it. It fell down in here. Okay, I got it. Luckily, this is one of my bigger cloves of the garlic, bigger heads of garlic, and I don't want to lose it. Okay, I've got to get. All right, so now we can process the onions. For everyone who's new and missed it, we made a hardneck garlic. I am gonna save this video so you can go back and rewatch it if you want, on how to make a hardneck garlic braid. And now we're gonna process the onions. I have a bunch of onions here on the side. So what we will do with these onions now, like I said, we are gonna trim the roots, just like we did with the garlic. And the top, you can just pull it off, but I always like to cut it. And I like to cut it kind of in an angle, so then it has a little bit more, in my opinion, surface area, and the part also dries up a bit nicer. And I'm actually gonna use this crate also to store them in. We are gonna put them to our cellar once we are finished building the cellar out, but that's a whole other project. We have this beautiful onion here. We're gonna do the same thing. I also have some onions still in my garden, but I am gonna use those to save seeds to plant next year. And I think starting them in January was a good call for me because I got to harvest them now at the end of July, beginning of August. So I think that's a pretty good range of how long I can have them in the garden, because if I plan correctly and if I plan smartly, I can have a fall garden, but I need to have starts ready as soon as I pull out my onions or as soon as I pull out my garlic. I planted some potatoes in the spot where I pulled out my garlic. It was kind of late because my garlic was a little bit behind this year. So I don't know if they really have time to make it into anything, but I hope they will, because it would be great to get a second round of potatoes. I am gonna post my potato harvesting video pretty soon. We just harvested them the other day, I think like 3 or 4 days ago, and they're currently curing in my garage. I actually need to go there later and take that tarp off. We had them covered with a tarp just because we were gone for about 2 days and I didn't want anything to get to them. But they should have a decent airflow. So we should take the tarp off actually. Homegrown onions make me so happy. I don't know why. Some of them got really nice and big too. Although next year I will definitely not plant my carrots with my onions, because the carrots, I always read that onions and carrots are good companion plants, but my carrots always, and I mean always, outgrow my onions so quickly. So I definitely next year will have to put them separately. Maybe in beds next to each other. I think that could work. But I can't put them together anymore because some of my onions could have gotten so big if my carrots didn't outgrow them and didn't take all their light away, because onions need a lot of light. I'm actually thinking if I should make crates full of red onions, crates full of pink onions, and crates full of white onions, or if I should just mix them. What do you think? I don't know. Maybe it would be nice to have them all sorted by color. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I can still sort them later on if I want to, of course, but if I'm already at it, it would be nice to do it right away. These are the pink onions. Looks so funny. I actually forgot to cut one of my garlics earlier. One of these garlics is almost as big or even bigger than this onion. That's I just can't get over it. It's crazy to me. These are so beautiful. Really, really happy with that. Almost threw that onion into my trash bin there. Better not do that. Okay, let's see. There's some of these reddish onions ready. This oh, this is pink onion too. So pretty, isn't it? Well, this one wasn't ready because you can see there's a bit like milk coming out. I guess I'll let that air dry before I put it into the crate. This one is definitely ready. Or maybe I just cut it too low. Could also be. This one's really beautiful. I think this is the Red Magic. Look at that deep burgundy color. It's so pretty. The crate is growing. You have some more onions. Kind of feels like fall already today because of the gloomy weather, but it's not. It's still August, at the beginning of August. So I don't know. I think fall will come rather sooner. For us, it's usually the last week of September when we get already our first frost. So September is truly fall for us already. It's so beautiful. Okay. All right. I think this is all the onions we're going to process today. I think the rest, they just need a bit more time until they're ready to be processed. We are going to do a live garden tour next week. So be sure to join in for that. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it. I'm probably also going to do it on a Thursday, like today. So I will give you the heads up for sure when I know. But until then, if you've watched all this time, and if you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching and joining me today while we made this beautiful, beautiful hardneck garlic. I hope you also get to make hardneck garlics this year if you are interested and if you want to do that. I am also going to make some onion braids later this year, not with these onions, but with my larger onions. I will definitely do some onion braids later this year. But I think this garlic braid turned out so beautiful. I love it, and I'm definitely going to hang it up in my kitchen. I hope that you also get to make one this year or maybe next year. If you've already processed all your hardneck garlic into cloves like this, then I mean you could still probably wrap twine around here and just braid it together somehow. But if you don't want to do that, then save this idea for next year. It is so fun, especially for us northern gardeners in like colder climates. Hardneck garlic braids is your way to go. And I will be sure to take you along with me when we do the garden tour next week. And be sure to give you a heads up. So, with that being said, I hope you have an amazing day. And thanks for being here. And yeah, I just hope to see you back on the channel next time. Bye. Live stream won't end. I guess it doesn't want to end.